The role of Clarice Starling could have very easily been played by a man, but instead the role went to a 5'3", 120-pound woman in the early 1990s. Coming off a decade of many firsts for women, such as Sally Ride, the first woman in space, Sandra Day O'Connor, first to serve on the Supreme Court, Geraldine Ferraro, the first woman to run for the vice presidency. The country was slowly getting used to women in spaces once dominated by men, making Jodie Foster's performance, in a role exclusively reserved for leading men of cinema, all the more impactful. Silence of the Lambs started a whole new suspense genre, reaching deep into the bowels of humanity to extract the psychological thriller.
You know, we get a lot of detectives here, but I must say I can't ever remember one as attractive. Will you be in Baltimore overnight? Because this can be quite a fun town if you have the right guide.
I'm sure this is a great town, Dr. Chilton, but my instructions are to talk to Dr. Lecter and report back this afternoon.
I see.
The story of a young, attractive FBI agent in her last weeks of the academy. She is recruited by the agency for an unusual assignment. The story implies women's usefulness is to satisfy, seduce, or mislead men. A stereotype of women that has helped to flame the fires of gender resentment in the workplace. A resentment clearly felt by millions of threatened men across America, and can be seen throughout the movie.
I'm still in training at the academy.
Jack Crawford sent a trainee to me.
Yes, I'm a student. I'm here to learn from you. Maybe you can decide for yourself whether or not I'm qualified enough to do that.
That is rather slippery of you, Agent Starling. Sit, please.
That is where the story distinguishes itself from years of cinema's so-called progressive portrayal of women. When a young Clarice Starling interviews the infamous incarcerated serial killer Hannibal Lecter, masterfully played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, we see the power dynamics ebb and flow, as even Lecter has to acknowledge his cheap tricks when intellectually outmaneuvered.
It excites him. Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No. No, you ate yours.
You send that through now.
The chilling world of psychological suspense is elevated by Jodie Foster's powerful ability to create a character sympathetic to the female victims of an overpowering psychopathic man. Jodie Foster may come off non-threatening, but when needed, she masterfully can will the command of a room like this.
Excuse me. Excuse me, gentlemen, you officers and gentlemen, listen here now. There's things we need to do for her. I know that y'all brought her this far and that her folks would thank you if they could for your kindness and your sensitivity. And now please, go on now, let us take care of her. Go on now. Thank you. Thank you.
Agent Starling skillfully flows between a disturbing relationship with Hannibal Lecter and the discipline of the world's finest law enforcement, eventually leading Starling to find herself in the midst of a serial killer, Buffalo Bill Cody. A popular myth is that Hannibal created Buffalo Bill Cody when he was a psychiatrist, knowing one day law enforcement will turn to him to catch the psychopathic killer. Implying the entire film is a charade, coordinated and masterminded by Lecter the entire time.
I wouldn't be surprised if Billy had applied for sex reassignment at one or all of them and been rejected.
On what basis would they reject him?
look for severe childhood disturbances associated with violence. Our Billy wasn't born a criminal, Clarice. He was made one through years of systematic abuse. Billy hates his own identity, you see, and he thinks that makes him a transsexual. But his pathology is 1,000 times more savage, more terrifying.
The film's resounding success launched an entire franchise that never quite lived up to the original, which earned $273 million and 5 Academy Awards, including Best Actress for Foster.
Tell me his name, Doctor.
Clarice! Your case file. Goodbye, Clarice.
Jodie Foster was born on November 19, 1962 in Los Angeles. Originally named Alicia Foster, she was nicknamed Jodie by her siblings, and the name stuck. Jodie and her siblings were raised by their mother and manager, Brandy Evelyn Ella, and her female partner. One of her early acting gigs landed her the opportunity to work with a young Italian director, Martin Scorsese, in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, 1974.
You want to steal something?
Steal what?
Well, I don't know. What do you need?
Nothing, really.
What do you want?
Nothing. Except some guitar strings, but they're really expensive.
Well, where are they? At Chicago Music Store?
Yeah.
Well, let's go, darling.
Jodie Foster will reunite with the iconic director in his masterpiece, Taxi Driver, 1976. Her portrayal of a child prostitute earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, look, can I see you again?
That's not hard to do.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, regularly. This is nothing for a person to do.
All right, how about breakfast tomorrow?
Tomorrow what?
I get up at about 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Well, I got a thing I don't...
Come on, do you want to or not?
Yeah, I want... okay, all right. Okay, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Okay. See you tomorrow. Oh, Iris. My name is Travis.
Thanks a lot, Travis.
So long, Iris. See you tomorrow. Sweet Iris.
Foster took some time off from acting to attend Yale University, where she fell victim to a deranged and dangerous stalker, John Hinckley Jr. The effects of films like Taxi Driver's overt toxic masculinity, normalization of prostitution, and blurred anti-hero lines is dangerous for mentally disturbed privileged white men. Hinckley moved to New Haven, where Yale is, and attempted to contact Foster with no interest on her part. On March 30th, 1981, Hinckley attempted to assassinate the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, just like the Taxi Driver main character, in a toxic display of supremacy, dominance, and power to impress Miss Foster.
What was he like?
I'm not allowed to say. I believe that it's, that the letters were assumed to have been, love type letters.
An episode like this could have defined Jodie Foster's career, but she fought hard to not let that happen. So we leave you with this wonderful Jodie Foster piece of cinema history.
What did you see, Clarice? What did you see?
Lambs. They were screaming.
They were slaughtering the spring lambs,
They were screaming.
and you ran away?
No. First I tried to free them. I opened the gate to their pen, but they wouldn't run. They just stood there, confused. They wouldn't run.
But you could, and you did, didn't you?
Yes. I took one lamb and I ran away as fast as I could.
Where were you going, Clarice?
I don't know. I didn't have any food, any water, and it was very cold. It was very cold. I thought if I could save just one, but he was so heavy. It was so heavy. I didn't get more than a few miles And the sheriff's car picked me up.
Thank you.